Hey guys, it's Amanda here with WonderwallCreations.net. I'm coming back to you with some different hand lettering hacks. I wanted to give you some other little tips and tricks. I did a video the other day about stenciling, so you can check that out if you're interested in some other hacks. But today I wanted to talk to you about transfer paper. I love transfer paper when I'm trying to hack some hand lettering. It's really awesome in that it's pretty cheap and that you can definitely get immediate results with it. The one I'm using today is Saral transfer paper. I think I'm saying that right. I may not be. It's a wax-free transfer paper. It's specifically made for transferring images from one to the other. It erases like a pencil so it doesn't smear, which is really nice. I think it's worth whatever money this is, to be quite honest with you, just because it does erase, so that makes that pretty awesome in case you make a mistake. You can ink or paint over the tracing and it doesn't make a mark. Like when I showed you with the stencils, you would very often see the pencil lines, so you were going to have to use like a dark color paint. This one will not. And the other thing that's pretty awesome about it is that with whatever sheet that you use, you can definitely use it again and again until you just feel like that it's losing some of its oomph, and you'll see what I mean in just a little bit. The one thing's about Saral paper, they come in 5 different colors. They show you on the side, so I thought that I would use this to show you too. They have the graphite color, so that's going to be a dark color, kind of like a pencil mark. This is white, which is really good for dark surfaces, and that's the one that I'm actually going to show you today, which is the reason why I have the black paper here. They have blue for non-photographic, yellow good for reverse work and works well on metal, and red, which is easily seen on dark or light surfaces and fires out of ceramic. So if you wanted to use it to mark on a ceramic and then fire that, it would be okay. It's pretty affordable in that it comes in a roll of 12 feet, kind of like you would see with aluminum foil. It just kind of comes in a roll, and then you roll off however much that you're needing, and then you rip it off. So today I'm going to show you a little bit about how to use transfer paper. So what I did to get us ready for this is that I printed out just a nice brush script font. This actually came from Microsoft Word. It can come from any font that you want. With the internet, you have access to a lot of free font files. So if you're wanting to do a different scripty font or things like that, then this option opens up that option to you. Especially if it's a font that you don't have in your repertoire but really want to use on something that you're trying to do. I just did something simple. I will tell you that the more complicated and thin line work that you have, the more difficult it's going to be. So I wanted to show you something really simple today, because let's just face it, I don't want to screw up in front of you guys. So basically what you're going to do is, I have my Wonderwall here that I know that I want to transfer onto this. I want to have on this black paper, I want this outline of this Wonderwall script that I have. So I've already torn off a piece of our transfer paper, and really this is like kind of like a thin tissue paper. Seriously. And one side just feels a little bit more powdery than the other. Sometimes it kind of rubs off on your fingers just a little bit. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to put that side down, okay? The powdery side goes down because you want that powder residue to be left on your surface that you're trying to get your image on. And then what you can do is that you just place whatever you're wanting to do over top of it. Now, I will tell you that if you are really concerned about placement, you might want to trim down your object to really small. You may want to tape them together to make sure that there's no shifting, just so that way everything kind of stays all in one piece. I'm not going to do that today because we're just practicing. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take a pencil or a fine tip of something. Ballpoint pens work. Something that you want is really fine. Really, the finer the tip, the better, really, because that's just going to make an accurate thing that you're needing. This is just a plain old Bic or Papermate, my bad. It's just a plain old Papermate mechanical pencil. And so what I'm doing is I am just outlining the outer edges of those letters, just as if they were my own. As you can see, I did make a mistake there if you're really able to see pretty close what I'm doing. And so we will go back and erase that so you guys can see what that looks like, so that you guys are aware of kind of how that function works with the transfer paper. I will tell you that this brand of transfer paper seems to be the most economical, but I will tell you at your local craft stores, you are likely going to be able to find some different transfer papers out there, tracing papers and things like that. I like this one because I really enjoy working on a dark surface. I really like that chalkboard look that's really popular right now. And so what's cool about this is that it makes a white mark on there. So if I'm working on a black canvas or like this black poster board, because this is just simply a piece of black poster board, then I'm able to go back through and make a stark white letter with this, because I've got this white lettering, you know, that's crisp that I can see, and so I know that I can work with it really easily. As you can see, I'm just continuing to mark through and mark around all of the letters. You know, you do want to do this in one fell swoop, I will say. Part of that being is that you kind of got one shot with this, unless you have really taped down everything. You're going to want to make sure that everything kind of stays in the same spot. Otherwise, you're going to really kind of have to make sure that you replace everything exactly where it needs to be. And that's too big of a crapshoot. Some people choose just to do the upside of the letters first, the very top. And then come back and do the underside of everything. I kind of like to move from left to right just as if I was handwriting it, but that's just my preference. As always, I encourage you to do whatever feels comfortable for you, because this is about you. This isn't about me, because you're the person who's going to actually be the person who's trying to do this. So if you find it easier just to start at the top or the bottom and work your way through, then you go through it. If you find that it's easier to work with a pen, then you go for it. I do have a fine roller ball pen that I like to use sometimes when I'm using the transfer paper, particularly when I'm doing something that has a lot of detail, because obviously nothing is going to ink through. I'm not using anything that's going to bleed through with this, and so I'm not running the risk of messing anything up underneath. This is just simply my guide for what I want my letters to look like, and I'm able to go through and outline it and use it. Actually, you know, if you find something that, like a scripty thing that you really like and you want to do it over and over again, this is a really good way to have some consistency within that. You just trace everything. What I will tell you is you got to trace everything, and then you got to go back through and paint everything. I mean, there is something to be said for that. So I have completely traced our Wonderwall. I hope I didn't forget any spots while I was chit-chatting here with you guys. I'm going to lift this up. You may be able to see, I don't know if you can or not, just the faintest outline of Wonderwall on this transfer paper. As you can see, when I pull it up, you might be able to see the letters. And that's just where that white has transferred from this paper and onto the substance that you're trying to mark it on. And what is really awesome is, if you can, as you can see, I now have an outline for Wonderwall. And so it's just exactly like the brush paint, the brush script font that I had gotten from Microsoft. I'm going to go back through here, use my eraser just to erase a few little lines where I blurbed up just a little bit. As you can see, that erases away really quickly. I will tell you that sometimes you get a little bit of residue on your painting, on your stuff. So you're just going to go back through with an eraser and you're just going to mark those off. So then what we would do at this point is that now that we have our outline, I'm just going to take my white Molotow acrylic paint marker, or One for All. Awesome markers. I've got some review videos of those too. And I'm just going to go through here and mark over what has already been done on at least one of these letters, just so you can see it. Just see how that's going to go down. Just marking over again the lines that I made with the transfer. This is one of the easiest lettering hacks there is out there. And you can get any font you want with it, which is, I think, what was great. This is a lot of what I did in the beginning, before I got a little bit more confident about just putting my own lettering out there. I'm kind of feeling like people were looking for something canned, but I found that people really like the unique stuff. So I'm just kind of going through real quick and painting in the letter just so you can see what it's going to look like when I'm done. But I will tell you that if I was painting these really, really tightly, I would probably make sure that I put them in, that I would color in a little bit more tightly. But as you can see, I was able to do that just by going off of the transfer image, and we already have a W that looks exactly like our brush script that we got from Microsoft Word. So some pretty awesome options out there, particularly with the variety of fonts that are out there. I say give this a whirl. Again, this is that Saral transfer paper. So easy. That 12 foot of paper lasts you a while because, like I said, as long as you got something this size, you can reuse this again and again and again until you basically just kind of have all of that stuff is rubbed off. So you could use it again this way or whatever way you wanted to do. So that's about transfer paper, and that's another one of our lettering hacks. Keep coming back and checking things out at wonderwallcreations.net to see what we come up with next. Thanks.